Ako na lang sa top.
Iwan mo kuhan.
Mag-live ka?
Nag-live ka daw.
Hala ganun sila.
Yeah, that one's gonna be Zoom.
Malapit sila.
Or something, because we have
Malapit
to
sila. Sa tayo
Zoom.
malayo.
Okay.
How do
Okay
you
lang ba?
use this thing? Like that?
You go here? You stay here? Brendan?
Whatever's like, this is the main,
Oh yeah, okay.
like however
Right, I think right here. The front.
you set it up.
Alright.
You set
It's
it
kind of
up.
sick, so keep an eye on it.
Yes. Launch meeting.
Sabi ka na, champa ba?
Sa ko lang.
Sige, okay lang. Upo ka dito, masayon, taka.
You have Zoom on your computer?
Shout out to Jay from
Yeah.
What is Michael
What are we running,
Jackson? Shout out to you dan.
Puso ka gamay. Ma.
Okay.
Kuha ka atas gamay.
Oh,
Sige.
It's okay.
Kita naman.
Kajas.
It's Coach's page.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
We say hello, Coach.
Big
Page
buzzer. Big
live.
buzzer.
Yeah. Woo! That's it right there, baby. That's all you need to know. Big boss. Very fan friendly. Big boss.
Yes. Your friend.
Big boss.
Zoom.
Jom daw, Jom.
Pati ko makita dyan ubos. Dapat makita ang sa baba. Ha?
April 5. April 5?
April
5? 10.
April 10 po.
Ikaw, wala ka 5?
20 days away.
Yeah, 30 days.
Exactly 20.
April 16.
Iwan mo. Sa din?
Sa Mexico.
Mexico? Ano kung turo? Mexicano?
Mexicano.
Tigil.
Asa na?
Bawa na to. Hindi mo makita.
Iba rin ito.
Ay, balin. Halalo kita may logal ani.
Dala na coach.
Ha? Kasi kita lang. Di okay na nang naka-steady kay magkuro-kuro po buwan.
Basta daw.
Hmm?
Alan Aquino, shout out. John Lee Salayaw.
Yeah, how is it, Brendan? You send that to me.
Batag Pasaya, Saway.
Marvelous Marvin.
Brendan, what? You send me the Zoom thing?
Naruto, El Donye.
Diri coach, tanaw ko
I
sa
sent it,
imong
Viva.
page.
Ha?
Diri ko mag-shout out.
Oh, sige. Ako, pwede din, no?
Hey, Sean.
Right here.
Yes, Noli. Ask him. What's he need?
Hello. Hello, sir.
How
How are you?
6 months?
Hi. Good morning.
Introduce yourself.
You
Morning,
guys
Evans.
late up there.
Sean, so.
Yes. To hear others, please call.
Great, good to see you. Good to see everyone. Is everyone there?
Yes, I'm trying to,
Shout out Jason Win.
Zoom,
Okay,
so...
so-
Make the sign
so it'll be on this one. Here, take this. So you go over there.
That's it.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna use. But this is going to broadcast.
use. Well, what are they gonna see?
They're gonna see this. That's what you're gonna talk. That's what the voice is.
Good setup.
Yeah. Yeah, so this will be,
So that's what it's behind there.
yeah, but open it up and you have the video. And turn it up.
Yeah, but what if we look at confused?
Diyan, naka-ikitaran dyan.
You have to look at that and look like, what do you, who? Oh no, they see that.
You see this?
They see that right now, so I have to read.
Yeah, yeah. Hold on one second, Noli, we're back.
Diyan. Atras imay.
Hindi, ano lang sa...
Here, what do you know? You don't want to be seen on this.
You have to have that open as long as
Yeah, but then that's what they're looking at. That's the problem.
Here.
They look at this one.
Here.
Okay, then that's what we're gonna talk to that one.
Yeah.
This is open. That's all they're gonna see and hear us.
No, they go on this one. That is so you can have the audio. And you
Yeah,
can
the
talk to
audio,
them.
yes.
I'm not gonna
Because
listen
it's
all the way up
close to you.
You can
Ay,
just
wala
turn off
man
the
mo,
camera.
wala man mo kita.
Okay.
If this is muted or not.
Yun na, ikaw tulungan ko sa'yo.
Say coach.
Dali ka din ko doon na. Narang iba rin yung...
Ha? Wala pa klaro. Kunya na. Kunya na karong pag okay na tanan.
Dito.
We are over. Ano na yan? Wala na yan. Ano na yan?
Kita na na.
Look at that shit.
Tabi man.
That's what you see.
Tommy Gerland. Shout out from Guam.
Gungkong may gungkong ka
Oh
na.
shoot. Dami na akong fan sa Guam. Tulog idol pa shout out naman po. Marbit, mabait. Oh, mabait ako. Kahit tulog gising. Ronel Amoroso. Bien Amoroso kayo. So, mo kundi boss. Oh, mamaya ayusin ko pa to. Hindi pa final eh. Mamaya. Ayusin ko pa to. Hindi pa final yung ano namin. Hindi pa to final.
How about seeing all these people?
Thank you for
You're
joining
not
us.
seeing them. You're seeing them, but they're not seeing you.
San Diego, Naruto, Pelonye, shout out, taga San Diego ka pala. 3 hours lang dito.
How do I get rid of some?
Mabait ako, kay tulog.
Okay lang mo din sir.
Ayos ka na.
Pwede lang mo kaon-kaon sir.
Jo, diyan ako pisto niya. Jo. Usog lang ako niya. Diyan lang. Dili, usog ako gamay. Dili. Di, isibog lang ako, Jo.
This is what they're looking at.
Ana.
They're looking at.
Bantay ni Marps.
Dili ka, oh.
Marps. Yeah.
Dili ka.
Talo ako dyan sa ano Marps ah.
Buti pa ako. Buti pa yun.
Nino.
Go here and
Ay,
under.
ano. Kasi ito, buti na lang meron. Malaki.
Kaya hindi kanina yan.
Okay.
They don't see the.
Kasi yung nga importante sana. No choice ako. Buti meron.
How is it now?
Pero meron pa ako isa.
I see the belt.
Akala ko pa. Ala.
Walang ano. Walang ganito.
Hotel room. Hotel hall.
Ah,
As
di
long
mo.
as you can see the big boss.
Di makita ang big boss na
Hey,
yun.
yo, as long as you see the big boss, right? On the clock.
I don't think you can see it.
Udah, dapat
I don't see it.
Oh, sorry.
I see it everywhere. What do you mean?
I don't.
You guys are recording the screen, right?
Noli. Hello?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, how's the picture? Can you see us okay?
Ikaw na lang din yun. Mag-live.
Sunod na
There's no big boss logo, is there?
Alan Aquino, shout out. Alan Aquino.
Yes.
Yeah, open it up.
Long you see big boss, hey, long you see big boss, I don't need to be in the picture.
You know who
Ano?
There's Sir Mark in the house.
I think it's we saw each other, you know, the night fight up in Preston.
Yeah,
Was it Preston?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there with
When
Bombs there.
coach, yeah,
Remember the raptor?
before COVID,
O, di
Yeah,
ba?
that was before COVID, man.
pre-COVID, that was fun. That was good. That was
Jobin Sports, huh? Jobin Sports.
No one fight after that one, right? Where he fought Canelo. Jerwin got canceled after. Who did he fight after tonight?
His last fight was
They went in Mexico.
the little Mexican guy.
So you went to Mexico?
Oh no, I didn't go to Mexico. I was with Marlins or Poets fought in New York. So I was at Marlins fight and then
Yeah, because I think the guy. Is this the guy? who didn't have a visa?
Airbnb,
yes,
Oh, so he finally got one.
Airbnb
it was
in LA,
2019.
in
It
LA.
was November, like
Airbnb in LA.
2019 was the first supposed to happen.
And then get COVID.
No, it was a visa the first thing,
Yeah.
and then COVID. But that's when the fight was like first.
Hindi pa.
It's been
I think malay ko lang.
a year and a half.
Yeah.
Shoot a couple pictures real quick.
Nice.
What up, Mark?
I'm sorry.
Sir Mark.
71,000.
Magsaya.
Picture.
Welcome sa'yo.
Oo naman, dapat lang talaga. Muna tayong lumabas. Nakakatakot.
One picture here, coach. Coach.
Sure.
1, 2, 3. One more, 1, 2, 3.
Parang meron kang pinagtaguan, di ba?
Pa-shout out naman dyan. Giselle. Giselle Ancajas. Uy, si Giselle Ancajas.
Yes, sir.
Saya Richard.
Andit yan si Magsayo. Si Magsayo nasa Zoom.
Perfect, right?
Yeah.
Ayan si Magsayo sa Zoom.
Dikit-dikit. Ako po. Kaya nga.
Kabalita.
Pinabayaan na tayo. So, ingat-ingat na. Ingat-ingat na tayo.
Kanya-kanya na lang. Kanya-kanyang...
Kaya dito tayo boxing. Good news muna tayo. Good news. Kaya para naman simula ng linggo, good news muna tayo. Diba?
Should we walk?
We'll start in a few minutes. Ipay lang natin yung iba. I'll give them about 5 minutes before we begin. Kasi may marami pong nagsabi that they will join us. Friends. Hello, Peter. Kamusta?
No, sir, I'm okay. Can we record?
Yes.
We are going to record this. But if you want that, anong tingin mo?
Wala siguro si Rodriguez dire.
I'm not sure if
I'm gonna shoot a little video of it.
Alright, let me see your phone.
We will give you copies ng
Thank you, thank you.
the recording. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Nice house here here.
But this is the main, like, what you look at, this camera. That's what you look at when you talk and.
I think it's a good camera to look at.
So Magsayo would be on the Zoom. So we got Jerwin.
I just sit here, all I think is, Cause it tastes good. It tastes like roast beef. The cheese.
That was
Like,
big. But they taste like no good.
it's like sour. Like,
Yeah.
It's like
Because they have tamarind.
tamarind.
Yeah, they put tamarind.
That's what I take.
At the A-list.
That's why they call it tamarind soup.
A-list.
See, I did not. I just thought the goat was sour.
Oh no,
So it's a soup, so I feel better eating it. Yeah.
not sour.
I thought the meat was. That's why I was like, it was.
Only tamarind, sure.
Or you
Well,
just,
I'm using this to record.
Benito,
yeah.
Because Mark's not here, so this was live on
Benito, you look
Facebook.
amazing for 10 o'clock in the morning. You look fantastic. You look great.
Hey, Sean, he wakes up at 4. Come on.
I don't think he sleeps. He texts me at 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 6 in the morning, 8. He doesn't need much sleep for Superman, for the dean of them all. So,
Oh, JJ has Disney work today.
and one day we'd like to rejoin you all in the Philippines. It'd
Diego
be
was
lovely.
at, he got work today.
Really?
Yeah. You got the link though.
Hold on one sec.
Sir, can you use my...
Hold on one second, Dean. What do you mean you can't see?
Everyone else can see you.
Hold on, Dean. Noli, can you see us? Can you see Jerwin?
Speaker.
4.
Plug in.
What's that?
That's what I was trying to tell him to do. You can do speakers.
I think the Dean, we can bring the shot up a little closer if we need.
We need...
But
So
we'll
it's
start
like
with a
keep it
long
here?
shot, then bring it up
Yeah,
some.
we can do it.
We'll start in a minute or two, okay? So, just so everyone settle down.
Yeah.
All the members of the media. Thank you.
Experience, huh?
Pakita naman yung mga walang sa camera, pakita kayo para makita naman ang mga si Jerwin at saka ni Mark. Lahat ng mga bisita.
That looked like Coach Sting. I know I saw Coach Sting on there. He's undercover. The coach is undercover.
Okay, so
Anyway, you can say, Mark is on Zoom.
will be Pilipinas na wala pa. And then,
Sayang, hindi nasabi sa mga tipo.
the recording of this press con. So maybe at 10 or 6, I know that everyone's busy.
Speaker?
Alam ko ngayon, the media is very busy. You all have
Because if you connect to the speaker, you just watch the noise.
Sean, are you ready? Back?
1 second, almost ready.
Connect the speaker to the Zoom.
I think so.
Oh.
I don't know, I never tried connecting anything on laptop. Okay, hold on, I'm recording on this, on the laptop.
Thank you. Only the best for Big Boss, only the best.
It works or not?
We're just trying to get our
I
speakers.
just realized I'm recording on the laptop, so I can't connect stuff to it.
Yo,
Trying to see there's.
let's go without.
I can grab the big speaker real quick. Take 1
Ah,
second.
yeah, the big.
Just 1 second.
Uy, Mr. Vlogger.
Technical difficulties.
Problem.
Technical difficulties.
Satellite.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
No, take care of.
Let's not on the mic, Sean. Never mind
Nagsisimula
now.
na po ang ating conference.
Exactly, I'll second that.
Oh, sige, sige. Apa nila yung audio. Kasi ang nag-Justin Flores. Justin Flores.
It doesn't go.
Yun lang lang mga likay yung ano. Ilan na viewers na sa minute?
Hindi ako nag-live, coach.
Friendship ko
Hindi ako nag-live.
Nakita na.
Hindi siya nag-live kasi walang copyright. Pag may copyright. Shout out muna tayo.
No.
Soren, shout out.
Someone talk back to us.
Hey, Nolan, can you hear us
Idel,
okay?
Denyo, shout out, Idol.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Idel.
You louder. We hear you louder.
Terrific.
Yeah, we just hooked up.
Ready?
Yeah, we're gonna turn down the speaker 1 sec. We hooked up a speaker so we can hear better.
Your neighbors might be hearing this press con already, although, you know, maybe this can be heard by Jonathan Rodriguez.
Okay, 1 more sec. Go ahead and talk, Noli. Testing.
Testing,
Okay.
testing, Sean.
Perfect. We're ready. We're ready when you guys are.
All right, let's go. So, let's begin our virtual press con. Magandang umaga po sa lahat ng mga members of the media who have attended this morning. And of course, good evening to our VIP guests back in the United States. You know, the past few weeks have been all bad news in terms of our conditions here in the Philippines. And somehow we'd like to start our week by giving you some good news today. And that's why this press con has been called by Big Boss Cement. Big Boss sa Tatag, Big Boss sa Tibay. And before I continue, may I just, I would just like to introduce the members of our panel today, our special guests for this virtual press con. First of all, let me introduce the Senior Vice President for Big Boss Cement, who is here with us today, Dr. Ishmael Ordonez. Magandang umaga po, sir, Dr. Ish. Thank you for bringing the support. I would also like to introduce the marketing head of Big Boss Cement, Ma'am Pen De Leon. Good morning, Pen. And of course, I'd like to say hello to a very hardworking person in our group, si Richard, our producer, God, and si Mike Santilla. Now to introduce the VIP guests all the way from the US. First, I'd like to introduce the man of the hour, the guy that will be fighting very, very soon, and the announcements will be made later.
Okay.
The IBF super flyweight champion of the world, Jerwin Pretty Boy Ancajas.
Yeah!
Our pinagmamalaki, the undefeated featherweight, Mark. And of course, the team of the Ancajas team, headed by Coach Pavel Jimenez. The man who's putting this all together, you know, president of Philippine Boxing and the president of NP Promotions, Mr. Sean Gibbons.
Filipino.
All right. Just before we give the floor for the announcement, I would like to give some special house rules for this virtual press call. Number one, we will allow questions and answers or questions to be thrown by the media, by the Philippine media later. We would like to request that you put your name in the chat box so that we can find an order. The first one to put his name there. I have seated Benito as the first one to give his questions a little later. But everyone else, please put your names. We will allow 2 questions per member of the media plus 1 follow-up. And then you can go back and ask a few more questions to allow everyone else to be able to ask questions. We also request that everyone put yourself in mute unless you are going to talk so that we can unmute you just for an orderly and organized event today. And finally, for those who will need a copy of this recording, please send also in the chat box. Our producer, Gad Malyari, will send you a copy of this the recording of today's virtual press club. All right. So at this point, I will now give the floor for the opening announcement about why we are having this press conference today. And I will give the floor to Mr. Sean Gibbons. Sean, you have the floor, please.
Okay, thank you, Noli, and thank you to all the members of the Big Boss team, Philippines media. I always get a big smile because you're the most passionate. You love covering boxing. And we're here today to announce IBF World Champion Jerwin Ancajas' next fight, April 10th on Showtime, and also world-rated contender Mark Magsayo will be fighting on the undercard. You know, this is a fight that it's been a long time coming, a real long time. Last November, it was scheduled, and we had some problems with Jonathan Javier Rodriguez's visa, and then the pandemic hit. So basically, you know, Jerwin's been here in the U.S. since October, made a lot of sacrifices for this fight. So is Coach Joven Jimenez, Joven Sports. And we're just really excited, and the support we get from the Philippines, the support we get from Big Boss Cement, we appreciate that. And come April 10th, it's very important because a lot of people always underestimate guys that they don't know a lot about. So we look at this fight as the biggest fight Jerwin's had in his career so far because he needs to get past this to get to the rest of them. So that's why we're here today, and we appreciate everybody tuning in this morning.
Thank you very much, Sean. Now, we will ask an opening statement from our own champion, Jerwin Pretty Boy Ancajas. Jerwin, opening statement na.
Una po, magandang umaga po sa inyo dyan, sa inyo sir, sa lahat po ng mga media na nandito ngayon sa press ko na to. Nagpapasalamat po ako una sa Panginoon dahil binigyan ako uli ng ganitong pagkakataon at lalo na nabigyan na din ako ng laban sa halos isang taon din na hindi nakalaban at nagpapasalamat ako lalo na sa Big Boss kasi parang sila yung ano sa amin ni Coach Jubin, sila yung nag-supportan nagsimula yung mga pandemic, yung Big Boss yung ano sa amin. Nagpapasalamat ko kay Sir Gilbert na lang sawang nag-suporta sa amin at kay Coach Jubin at sa lahat ng team ko at sa lahat ng nandito ngayon sa ano namin sa nagpapasalamat ako sa suporta nila lalo na sa mga kasamahan ko dito Yumer at saka Jonas Sultan. Yun po at God bless po sa atin sir.
Maraming salamat, Jerwin. Ngayon naman, bigyan natin ng pagkakataon to give his opening statement si Mark Magnifico Magsayo. Mark?
Good morning, sir, at good morning sa lahat na nakikinig at ngayon nanonood. At maraming salamat na nasali ako rin dito sa press conference na to. At pasalamat din ako kay Sir Sean na dahil binigyan ako ng opportunity ulit na lumaban dito sa US, pangalawa na ngayon. So, pasalamat ako at buong team ko sa YKG.
Maraming salamat, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
And at this point, siguro bigyan natin ng konting pananalita rin mula kay Coach Joven Jimenez. Coach, konting opening statement lang, Coach.
Maraming salamat po. Una-una sa Panginoon. Pangalawa kay Sir Sean. Siya po yung tatay namin dito sa US. Siya po yung nagbigay lahat. Moral, financial, at lahat-lahat po. Big boss, maraming salamat po sa inyo, sa inyong suporta.
Thank you, Coach Hogan. And now, before we open the floor for questions, I will now turn this over to the Senior Vice President of Big Boss Cement, Dr. Ishmael Ordonez, to give a statement for and on behalf of Big Boss Cement. Dr. Ish, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Noli. Good morning to everybody, and good evening or for those from other countries. Yes, Big Boss Cement is very proud to be a sponsor and to support our fighters, from the Philippines, lalo na si Jerwin Ancajas and Mark Masayo. So I think boxing represents what Big Boss Cement really shows in a product, and that is a strong and very matibay at matatag na produkto. That's what our cement is all about. That's why we have the gorilla. And so it just makes sense that we back up these fighters from the Philippines, and we know that they're going to do well. So thank you, everybody, for also showing support for Big Boss Cement. Thank you, Jerwin and Mark, for, we wish you all the luck, and we know that you've trained hard for this, and we can't wait for you to knock out your opponents. Thank you also to Coach Joven for supporting our fighters, and Sean, you too, for being there in the States for them. These are tough times, but we'll get through this. And so thank you everybody.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ish. Just as an additional announcement to the members of the media, I'm sure this will be asked, but we will already make the announcement now in behalf of Big Boss Cement and in behalf of Signal TV. Big Boss Cement is bringing the fight, the December 10th fight card to the Philippines on the proper day, December 11th. That's the day after, or that is actually a slightly delayed broadcast, same day delayed. It will be shown and broadcasted on One Sports and One Sports Plus, courtesy of Big Boss Cement. So this is the support that Big Boss Cement is giving to Jerwin Ancajas and Mark Magsayo, so that the Filipino can see how good our boxers are, and again, to give pride to our country. Maraming salamat po sa Big Boss Cement. All right, at this point, we will now open the floor for questions, and we will begin with the team. Tinito Henson. Tinito?
Thank you, Con. And hi to all the guys from media, my friends, Viva Sean, Jerwin, Joven, Mark. My question is for Viva Sean. Jerwin was laid off for a long while. Was the inactivity a result of some problem to Top Rank now that he's signed up with Al Heyman at PBC? And how was this problem resolved eventually? And my second question is, Viva Sean, can you tell us a little bit more about the opponents of not just Jerwin, but also Mark? Thank you.
Yeah, Dean, so to answer your first part of the question, basically, last year, April 11th, this fight was scheduled to take place in Tulsa, Oklahoma on a Top Rank show. Jerwin was in the process of getting his visa when the pandemic hit on March 15th. His visa appointment was March 31st. So it took like 7 months for him to finally get his visa and arrive here in October. By that time, basically Top Rank didn't really have dates to put it on. They kind of lost interest in things, and we had the opportunity to join up with Al Heyman at PBC, who's been very good to all the Filipino fighters. He's been good with Mark. He's absolutely with Senator Manny Pacquiao, fights under the PBC banner. So, we're still good with Top Rank, we're still good with Bob Arum, but this opportunity came up to kind of open up things a little too. If Jerwin is successful April 10th, then we have a chance to fight the best of the best. We have the Rat King, Rung Basai. We have, of course, Chocolatito and Estrada are going to fight again for the 3rd time. So basically, there was no issues with Top Rank. The issues were with the visa, the dates, the pandemic, like a lot of people have had. So that was really the deal. Now, for Mark Magsayo, he was lucky enough that he had a visa. He was able to get here in July and had a great fight in October to get his career back on track after quite a layoff. And we got to thank PBC, Al Heyman for resurrecting here and getting Mark's career going. The guy Mark's fighting, Pablo Torres, 21 wins, 3 losses. Just your game, right in your face type of opponent. This is the fight that's going to put Mark into the next step where we talked about hopefully fighting for a world title, either WBA, IBF Eliminator. So they're both very, very important fights always, because you need to win to keep going to the next step. So that's kind of how we got to where we're at now. And we're just going to be so happy to hear the bell on April the 10th. This has been a long time coming.
That's Pablo Cruz or Pablo Torres?
Pablo Cruz. Yes.
What about Jerwin's opponent? Tell us about how dangerous he is.
Well, again, Jerwin's opponents are the most dangerous because 25 years old, Jonathan Javier Rodriguez from Mexico. You look at the records, and recently there was a fighter named Mauricio Lara, 22-3, went to England, fighting Josh Warrington in a non-title fight. Absolutely destroyed Josh Warrington. People said he shouldn't be in a fight before the fight. You look at the record, and you don't really see a lot of the record. A kid I have, Angel Fierro, Mexican kid, just went to Puerto Rico and knocked out the kid there in the 6th round. So these type of guys like Jonathan Rodriguez, again, I tell you, it's easy to fight Estrada, Chocolatito, Rung Basai, because you know exactly what you're getting. You can watch tape of these guys, but one thing Jonathan brings is heart, determination, Mexican style. In his second to last fight, he fought a guy named Felipe Oracuta. Oracuta had given Juan Estrada a very hard fight, very close fight. Basically, Jonathan knocked him out in the 10th round. He was taken to the hospital in a coma, and thank God he survived and he's okay today. But again, coming with a long layoff like Jerwin's coming, there's a lot of variables in this fight. A lot of people overlook fights like this, but thank goodness Jerwin doesn't. He stays focused. Him and Coach Jobin been training diligently, really, for the whole year, but really since October, properly since they arrived in the U.S. So I look at Jonathan as a guy with nothing to lose, man. These are hungry guys. They come to bring it all. So they always say it's harder to stay on top than, everybody's coming for the title. Everybody's coming for the crown. So I think it's going to be a very fun and exciting fight, and that's where we're at.
Thank you, Ivan.
Thank you very much, Quinito. Next to ask his questions will be Waylon Galvez of Manila Bulletin, and of course the Chase Down. Waylon?
Thank you, good morning to Son and also to Mark and of course Jerwin. Jerwin, natin medyo matagal yung pinaghintay mo. So, paano mentally, of course, alam natin preparasyon mo physically, naghahanda yan, pero mentally, paano mo pinaghahandaan? Ang tagal mo nagkantay eh.
Una po, para sa akin po, hindi na bago po sa akin ng maghintay po ng matagal na laban kasi kung naalala ko yung pagkakuha ko nitong belt na to kay Macjo, parang ganito lang din po yung nangyari sir, matagal yung laban, halos mabuti ng taon yun bago na na tuloy yung laban. Para sa akin sir, hindi na bago sa akin ng ganitong pag-iintay sa ano sir. Kasi alam ko Panginoon talaga nga lahat dito nagplano lahat nito. Para sa akin hindi talaga ako nawawala ng pag-asa, hindi ako nawawala ng hindi ako nawawala ng kumbaga yung preparation ko nito. Hindi ko talaga inano na baka wala ng laban, ganun. Ano lang talaga ako sir, focus talaga ako dito sa laban na to, kung kailan, kung saan man, ganun yung talagang nasa isip ko lagi sir.
One quick follow-up lang, Jerwin. Parang less than 3 weeks from now, laban mo na. Sa tingin mo, nasan ka from 1 to 10, nasan yung pagiging, yung preparedness mo, nasaan ka?
Para sa amin sir, lagi namin sinasabi ni Coach Jerwin hanggang sa laban. Ngayon, nasa 95% na po kami sa laban o 90% po kami nasa prepare na po kami sa darating na laban sir.
Okay. Mark, it's for you naman. Ito naman, of course, alam natin, ready ka na din. Pero syempre, malayo sa family, halos mag 1 year ka na dyan. And ganito yung sitwasyon natin with the pandemic. Paano mo hina-handle lahat ito as a boxer? Yung family mo nandito, yung nasa isip mo lang, Mark.
Good morning. Mentally po, matibay talaga namin na pinagandaan ng mga pagdating ng laban. Ang pamilya, nag-aantay na sa Pilipinas palagi at nag-good luck sa amin. At ako, sanay na rin ako na malayo palagi sa pamilya, kaya pinag-focus na lang ako sa training, sa laban, at pinagandaan namin yung darating na laban.
Thank you, Mark. One question for Sir Sean. Sean, how do you see this fight with Jerwin, of course, and also with Mark? It's been a long time for these two, waiting for their respective fights. How do you see the fight going?
First I see Mark's fight. Like all of Mark's fights, exciting fights. He likes to mix it up. He boxes. He's in and out. The guy he's fighting, pretty one-dimensional. Just wants to come get in your face. I could see Mark somewhere in the fight, possibly scoring a KO in the middle rounds. And Jerwin's fight, I think it's going to be explosive. I think it's going to be a Mexican-Filipino rivalry. You have the great, when the Mexicans fight the Filipinos, they take it up to another level. There's something about that that the Senator and Pereira and Morales and Marquez all, developed this rivalry. So I'm cautiously optimistic. Never look past anybody. But I believe Jerwin's real skills will pay the bills. I think Jonathan Rodriguez is a tough, aggressive game guy. But at the end of the day, Jerwin's been a champion now for over 5 years. And I see him, winning possibly later in the fight, just breaking him down as he does most of his opponents. He's just like a surgeon. He slowly breaks them down like he did Israel Gonzalez, like he did the Japanese. So I see a great fight, though. I see a lot of action, and people that tune in, they're definitely going to get their money's worth watching Sunday. So.
All right. Thanks, Sean. Mark, good luck. Jerwin, good luck. God bless you both.
Thank you, Waylon. Ang susunod pong magtatanong ngayon is Dennis Gasbonia of ABS-CBN News Online. Dennis?
Good morning everyone. Good morning Sir Sean, Jerwin, magandang umaga, Coach. Tatanong ko lang, Jerwin, kasi ay kalain ka na sa PCC, papalabas yung laban mo sa Showtime. How does it feel to be fighting dun sa same group na kumahawak dun kay Manny Pacquiao?
Una sir, para sa akin napakalaking opportunity po na makalaban. Unang laban ko dito sa Showtime, sa PBC, at excited po kasi alam po natin na nandito yung sila Sir Manny, nandito yung Mark, halos mga malaking pangalan po nandito sa PBC po at
Pornhub,
sobrang tuwa ko po na nandito po sa PBC at salamat ako kay Sir Sian na binigyan kami ng pagkakataon na makalaban po dito sa ating motion po ng PBC po.
Then, kasi parang ito na lang yung inaantay natin yung una dapat. Hopefully, magkasunod ito. And nabanggit na ni Sir Sean na maaaring makaharap ng mga tulad ni Toro Vitay, kaya ito kaya dito, no? Ano kaya lang na, kasi for so long, naghahanap ka ng title unification, diba? At andito, lumalaki yung posibilidad na mangyayari ito. So, ano kaya your one step closer para na hindi ka sa kukuparan?
Kaya po itong laban na to, sir. Ito talaga yung pinopost ko ngayon. Talagang, kasi parang ito yung susi na makalaban ako sa unification or sa mga plano ni Sir Sean, lalo na sa mga may mga pangalan katulad kay Rong Bisay. Lagi namin hinahangad na makalaban sila. Ito yung kaya itong laban na to, sir, kaibigan ko talaga at ibubuhos ko yung kung ano man yung training namin, ano man yung kalaman ko sa boxing. Ito yung pinakaano ko na laban sa excited sa totoo lang, excited na ako sa laban na to kasi yun nga po, matagal ako na-lay-off din sa laban at excited ako sa makakalaban ko.
One question lang si Mark Magsayo. Mark, ano ba yung mga kalaban mo na to? Hindi mo sana napag-usapin yung kalaban mo. Anong description sa kalaban?
Yung kalaban ko, pareho kami ng laban, mas lamang na siya na kundi kasi may tatlo siyang talo. Tapos ako, 21 wins dyan. Pareho may 21 wins. So, ano siya, forward siya ng, lagi siya nag-forward. So, style namin ni Coach Freddy, gusto niya nakautin namin yung sabi ni Coach Freddy. So, pakita namin pinaka-the-best niya sa laban.
Maraming salamat, Dennis. Isa pa lamang mo, Mark, mas gwapo ka, saka mas bata. 34 na yata yung kalaban mo, no, Mark? Tama? Alright, ang susunod po magtatanong ngayon is Joseph Ramos from the Business Mirror. Joseph?
Good evening to all of you. Good morning sa atin. Kay Jerwin lang, I'd like to ask this question. Sino nagmo-motivate sa'yo or sino ang inspirasyon mo sa laban na to? At of course, kanino mo siya dinidedicate itong fight against Rodriguez sa April 10?
Unang-una po, talagang
kung ako nag-type yan,
ano naman po talaga sa family, sa amin, sa survival camp, sa team namin sa survival, sa lahat po ng mga sumusuporta sa akin, sa mga naniwala sa akin sa maraming boxing, lalo na sa kina Coach Juben, Sir Sean, at sa inyo po lahat po na naniwala sa akin, sir, yun yung, kayo po yung, kumbaga kayo din po yung isang dahilan na na-motivate ako dahil sa inyo, na-support ka ninyo sa akin at lalo na po sa, ano din po sa Panginoon ko, salamat ako na tawag dito, sa binigyan niyong pagkakataon na makakalaban ako ulit, sir.
My other question is for Mr. Sean Gibbons. Sir, I would like to, what is your plan for Jerwin under TBC? Do you have any upcoming plans after this fight?
Yeah, well, like I always said, you never look past anybody. We're not looking past Jonathan Rodriguez, but I feel we're gonna win. So, yeah, coming out of that fight, we're absolutely targeting, again, the gentleman from Thailand, Rungvisai. Rungvisai, I think, is kind of the odd man out now because he was supposed to get a rematch with Juan Estrada, but it looks like they're going to do Estrada versus Chocolatito 3. So that's always a fight Jerwin liked. He loves the style, he loves the fight. So we hope we can get that. If not, we just got to get right back in the ring and try to do something in the next 3-4 months while we wait. but he's absolutely, this year, gonna have a signature fight. There's been a lot of criticism over the years about he hasn't fought the top guys. Well, we're ready now. It's not our fault before. We couldn't, for various reasons, couldn't get those fights together. But we've spoken to Eddie Hearn in regards to Rongvasai. We'd love that fight. That's really, really the fight that Jerwin wants. So that's kind of the plan. And if not, just try to get a little activity since he's been out of the ring for, close to 15, 16 months.
My last question is for Mark. Mark, after this fight, are you hoping that you'll be in a world title fight soon after this fight, after your fight against Pablo Cruz?
Opo, at kung papalarin ako sa dating laban sa April 10, at manalo tayo ay sana bigyan na tayo ng world title fight ni Sir Sean. So, pagbutihin na natin at pakita natin ang galing ng Pilipino.
Anong percent ka na ngayon? Ensayo?
Kondisyon kasi since November pa ako nag-training. Hanggang ngayon, nag-training pa rin. So, training ready na. 8 pounds over, no problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joseph.
Thank you for watching.
Sean, those are words from Mark. You better give our boy a world championship fight soon, Sean. All right.
Definitely the plan. Definitely the plan.
Next one to ask her questions will be Virgie Romano from Saksi Ngayon. Ma'am Virgie.
Hello, good morning.
Go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead, Virgie.
Good evening. I have a question for Mr. Shan. Hello, Shan.
Yes, good evening, or good morning, I mean.
Good evening. Yeah. Is this fight going to be without the audience?
Yes.
Jerwin. Oh, yes. So,
Yeah.
Since the fight will be staged without the audience, is there any adjustment or agreement made in regards with the purse money of that Jerwin is going to receive?
No, everything's the same with the purse. The only difference is I've been in a few bubbles. I've been in fights where there's no fans. Mark McSile can tell you he fought where there was no fans. When that bell rings, it don't matter if it's one person or 10,000. A fight's a fight, and I've seen some tremendous, unbelievable fights. Yeah, you always love to have fans because you like the crowd noise and the cheering. But I'm telling you, these guys, when the bell rings, they just kind of zone it out. The fight starts. It doesn't matter if there's fans or not in there. It's still tremendous action.
So no changes regarding the purse.
Correct.
Yeah. So for Joven Jimenez, coach,
Yes, ma'am.
medyo matagal-tagal na hindi nakalaban ito si Jerwin. Tingin mo, sapat na ba yung ensayo natin or yung paghahanda natin para sa kanya or hindi tayo, kasi ang alam ko mula nung nagpunta kayo dyan sa US, hindi naman kayo tumitigil sa pag-ensayo. Wala namang overtraining na nangyari or sakto lang. Ano ba sa tingin mo?
Kami ma'am, binabantayan ko palagi si Jerwin sa training. Unang-una, tuloy-tuloy yung training namin. Wala kaming pahinga mula noong January, sa Dipolog pa po kami. Ngayon, ang training niya kailangan minsan hindi ko ituloy. Minsan bawasan ko yung volume para hindi siya talaga ma-overtrain. Last sparring niya, kalaban kay Scrappy 6 rounds. Maganda yung pinalabas niya, maganda yung condition niya. So, naniwala ko na sa laban na 100% kami maganda ang condition.
One last question. Bali pang siyam na title defense na ito ni Jerwin. Hindi niyo pa ba napag-uusapan na umakyat ng timbang?
Well, tungkol sa pag-akyat ng timbang, nag-uusap naman kami ni Jerwin at sinabi naman niya na kaya pa niya mag-115. Gusto niya talagang maka-unify. So, Kami, nag-aantay lang po kami kay Sir Sean kung ano mga plano niya sa amin. Basta kami palaging ready sa laban dahil ayaw namin na itong pagkakataon na binigay sa Panginoon na masayang namin.
Thank you. One more for Mark Magsayo. Mark?
Yes, ma'am.
Nanalo ka dun sa laban mo kay Herman Hill. Ano yung agay sa galaw mo, na dapat mong, tingin mo ba dapat mong pagtuunan ng pansin at baguhin para dito sa susunod mong laban para kay Pablo Cruz?
Pinapukusan po namin ni Coach Freddy ngayon ng stamina, paakyat sa bundok, takbo sa bundok. Kasi yun po parang tingin ko kulang sa estilo ko. So yun, pinapukusan namin ni Coach Freddy. Progress naman yung mga training na mga ginagawa namin ni Coach Freddy. So yun po ang strategy namin ngayon.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you po.
Thank you. Thank you, Virgie. Ang susunod po magtatanong from Spotlight TV, Fred Docdofil. Fred?
Mabuhay, everybody. Good morning to everybody from across the ocean. For those of us here in Los Angeles and the U.S., good evening. To our beloved fighters, Jerwin and Mark, mayong gabi. So my question is for Jerwin. My first question is for Jerwin. Jerwin, how difficult is it to maintain that hunger, that edge as a champion, knowing that obviously this past year that we're in a global pandemic, right? And that affected your last fight. But even before that, back in supposed to be November 2019, us here in Los Angeles, specifically in Carson, we were looking forward to supporting you in your title defense, which also, due to unforeseen obstacles, got pushed back. How hard is it to maintain that, that championship mindset?
Una-una po, bilang champion po talagang, yun nga po, nasabi ko sa kanila sa ibang media din na itong pagka-champion ko parang habinin sa akin to ni Macjo eh. Last kaming ni Macjo yung huling round namin, yung nanalo ako agad sa kanya, parang hinabili niya sa akin itong belt na to at yun yung parang sa akin na talagang pagtsagaan ko habang ako yung nakahawak nitong belt nito. Kumbaga, yung binigay na laban ni Macjo para sa akin, sir. Kurang ganun din yung ibibigay ko sa lahat ng mga gustong kumuha ng mga tawag dito, mga challenger ko po sa 115 sa IBF po. Parang yun yung naging ko sir mindset ko talaga na ibubuhos ko sa lahat ng mga makakalaban ko, lalo na dito sa kalaban ko ngayon kay Rodriguez po. At yun yung namin sir, lalo na si Coach Jubin, lagi naman si Coach Jubin na ni Coach Jubin sa akin na kung anong mga plano namin sa mga laban sir.
Great, Sean. My second question, just also applicable to Jerwin, but more so with Mark. Obviously, in all of your fights, you have the weight of the Philippine flag behind you, right? But do you feel any added, burden, so to speak, of carrying on the legacy of amazing Visayan champions, including obviously Jerwin?
I look up to Senator Manny Pacquiao because he's my idol, and since 2005, he's my superhero. So I want to be like him, and I will do my best to become world champion.
Daghang salamat. Ayo, Jerwin and Mark. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, salamat.
Thank you so much, Fred. The next one to ask their questions again. We will allow one final listing, please, for the members of the media who would like to ask their questions. We will have now Ron De Los Reyes. Please ask his questions now. Thank you. Ron, nakamute ka. Ron, nakamute ka. Ron, please unmute.
All right. Yes, good morning. I wanted to ask Sean about the audience, but this was already asked by Virgie earlier. So I'd like to focus my questions to the two boxers. Looking at you, Jerwin and Mark, parang at home na kayo dyan sa Amerika, no? At considering that nagkaroon ng winter dyan, and how are you able to adjust to the weather and also to the situation in the US, especially for Jerwin, kasi una siyang lalaban. Well, for the first time, he will fight in the US.
Sa awan yun nga po, sabi ko na at least naka-adjust na kami sa klima dito, lalo na minsan malamig bigla kasi dito lalo na dito sa iniistehan namin, minsan mainit, may time na mainit din sa labas, pag mayang hapon naman sobrang lamig. Kaya mas ngayon sir, parang komportable kami na nandito kaysa nandiyan pa kami at yung tawag dito, yung pag ng klima sir, yung importante din talaga sir. Yung pag-adjust ng klima ang importante na maanohan namin, kasanayan namin dito, sir.
Jerwin, patuloy pa rin ba ang inyong pag-observe ng mga safety protocols, health protocols, considering na mataas pa rin ang cases ng COVID sa Amerika?
Opo, sir. Yun din po talaga yung inaano namin, lalo na kami na minsan nag-jogging kami sa labas, pero ganun pa rin sir yung namin, hindi kami ganun lapit sa mga tao, saka may mask kami pag tumatakbo, kahit na doon kami sa wildcard, kasi stricto din kasi doon sa wildcard mag-training, at saka dito, minsan lang din kami lalabas dito sir, talagang mula doon sa nung pag-abot namin dito, nung October, hindi kami lumalabas masyado kasi yun nga, kami sa COVID po.
Okay, isang question na lang for Jerwin, this will be your 9th title defense, At for the first time siguro, walang manonood na live audience sa'yo, ano sa tingin mo yung magiging adjustment? Will this be different from the other fights that you had before?
Yun din po, sir, inano na natin yung mindset natin, sir, na talagang kung walang tao, meron talagang yung laban. Sabi nga ni Sir Sean, laban talaga. Kasi itong kalaban ko, parang nakikita ko yung sarili ko sa kanya nung naghintay ako ng matagal na bigyan ng pagkataon ng World Championship. At yun yung inano ko sir, kahit na walang tao na manonood, pero yung mindset ko talagang ito, laban na to, hindi birong laban to sa ibig ko, sa kaya i-post ko yung sarili ko dito. At hindi ko yung basta-bastang bibigay itong hawak ko na belt sir. At yun po, at paano ko pasalamat ako sa kay coach na nandito palagi.
Okay, maraming salamat Jerwin, at good luck sa iyo at kay Mark, and thank you everyone.
Thank you so much, Ron. We have about 4 more members of the media who will be asking their questions. We will close this after Nick, Mike, Carlo, and then Jerry will be the last one to ask the question. All right, so now we will go with the questions of Nick Diongo from Manila Bulletin. Nick?
You knock him down in the first.
Hey, good day to all of you. Good evening sa inyo dyan sa US. And good morning dito sa Maksam, sa Pilipinas. Questions for kay Jerwin muna, no? Jerwin, andyan ka October, ano? First week of October ka nandyan, ano? So by the time na lumabang ka, 6-7 months ka na nandyan sa Amerika. And kailan mo lang nalaman na mapapalaban ka? Paano mo nilabanan yung una mo yung pagiging homesick, tapos yung posibilidad yan na parang, there was a time parang walang nangyayari, no? Ensayo ka ng ensayo, tapos wala tayong makitang dinaw kung mapapalaban na hindi. Kasi kahit ako nga, pag tumatawag kay Sean, parang hindi pa rin niya masabi kung kailan. Meron bang time o stage dyan na pumasok sa isip mo na hindi na siguro ako dahil parang wala rin, parang hindi ako makakuha ng laban?
Yun yung sinasabi ko talaga, sir, na ako, sir, habang ako sa boxing, nandito ako sa boxing, hindi ako mawawalan ng pag-asa na hindi makalaban. Kasi yun, unang-una, nagtiwala ako sa Panginoon, sa mga plano ng Panginoon sa akin, sa karir ko. At ang nauna, nandiyan yung mga tao na binigay niya, ginawang daan niya na tumulong sa akin, sa amin, sa team. Nandiyan si Sir Sean, nandiyan si ang promotion, nandiyan yung mga lalo na kay Coach Jubin. Hanggang basta nandito pa ako sa boxing, hindi ako na, yun yung isip ko, sir. Yung sakripisyo ko sa bilang din, sir, ama sa mga anak ko, yun yung nagano sa akin. Itong lahat na to, sir, sakripisyo ko para sa kanila din, sir.
Alright, another question for Sean. Sean, you mentioned earlier about giving Jerwin a signature fight this year. A lot of things are happening. As you said, Chocolatito and the other guy, Gonzaga, Estrada are being planned to fight the third time. When you mean signature fight, can you name names if you can, Sean?
Absolutely. Of course, Wang Desai from Thailand. You have Joshua Franco, who holds a version of the WBA title. He holds a regular championship. Anybody with a belt, the Japanese champion is possible. The good thing fighting with PBC and Al Heyman, we're open to anybody. Al's willing to, work with any of the promoters out there, anybody that can make the fight we want. So that's kind of what I mean with signature fight. Jerwin's fought a lot of good fights. Israel Gonzalez has gone on to do tremendous. Jerwin pretty much handled him. Japanese fighter, a few other defenses along the way. But there's that, you always want that one, that big name that everybody recognizes, that boxing people and media say, oh wow, that's the guy. We know this guy, he beats that guy. So that's really the type of fight we want by the end of the year. And hopefully, with Chocolatito and Ramon Gonzalez fighting, we can get, Wang Desai from Thailand. Love to get the Rat King.
All right, thanks very much. I have a question for Mark Magsaka. Mark, gaya nun, ikaw mas matagal ka minsan sa US, parang July ka yata din dyan. Ganun din, yung kay Jerwin din, paano mo nilabanan siyempre kahit pa paano, naisip mo siguro na bumalik na lang kaya ako sa Pilipinas. Pumasok ba sa isip niyo yun? Kasi parang dito sa Pilipinas, mukhang tama yung ginawa niyo, nag-stay kayo dyan. Kasi dito talagang, although may mga laban dito, hindi pa rin kasing, hindi ka kagaya dyan na talagang nag-open up na talagang nagsisimula ng bumukas ng boxing. Mark?
Tiwala lang ako kay Sir Sean Gibos na bigyan ako ng lamang sa Amerika kasi pag umuwi pa ako sa Pilipinas, mawala yung momentum sa training ko at tataba lang ako doon. So, nag-continue ng training ako dito at nagtitiwala lang ako sa gym ko, sa gym namin, sa Wildcard, sa kay Sir Sean.
Alright, thanks very much guys.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Nick. Salamat. Ang susunod na magkasanong ngayon is Mike Ochoa ng Manila Standard. Mike?
Thank you. Pasensya na, wala akong video.
No problem, no problem.
Boses muna. I just have several questions. I'll start with Boben. Coach,
Yes, sir.
kamusta?
Mabuti po, mabuti po.
Andito na tayo. Nalalapit na naman. Meron akong tanong, Coach, hindi na kita nasusundan kasi masyado nung umalis kayo. You remain to be the head coach, no, of the team of Team Ancajas. Meron pa bang ibang kasama ngayon sa coaching staff mo?
Meron, sir. Si Sir Brendan Gibbons, yung assistant ko po ngayon sa laban ni Jerwin.
Okay. Nabanggit kanina ni Jerwin na nagpupunta rin siya sa wildcard. Meron nagkakausap pa kayo ni Freddy doon? O meron bang assistant si Freddy doon na tumutulong sa'yo? Do you collaborate with them?
Paano po, pumupunta po kami doon, sparring lang po, sir, sa mga fighters nila sa wildcard. Mga fighters nila na katimbang ni Jerwin. Yun lang po ang punta namin every Wednesday and Friday.
Opo. So you remain to be the head coach of the coaching staff, no, of Jerwin.
Yes po, yes po.
Tapos si Brendan, okay. May kalutong akong tanong, pati si Jerwin, no? Nung mga ilang taon nakaraan, mga 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I went up to survival camp. Nakapag-dinner nga tayo doon, Jerwin, no? Naalala ko pa yung pagkakataon na yun, no? Binibisita ko kayo doon. One thing that we talked about was in the survival camp, pinag-usapan niyo yung gutom. No, yung hunger, no, Joven, no, yung gutom na makarating tayo, nasan tayo ngayon. Several months ago, nagpunta tayo ng Amerika. Kung mamarapati nyo, siyempre, magsasabi naman natin na ang buhay dyan, madaming amenities, no? I'm sure nagpupunta kayo sa wildcard ng kotse, maganda yung pinag-trainingan nyo kumpara sa survival camp natin na talagang ginawa natin talagang, di ba, Spartan, no? So ang tanong ko, meron bang sa tingin mo, Boben, bilang coach, na nawala sa gutom ni Jerwin nung napadali ang buhay dyan? At kung meron, ano ang adjustment mo? So, and then next question is kay Jerwin. Jerwin, may naramdaman ka bang parang kakaiba dun sa gutom mo?
Para sa akin po, wala po akong nakikitang kakaiba ni Jerwin. Yung buhay namin sa Pilipinas, sa survival camp, sanay kami na wala kaming boxing ring, walang punching bag, punch meet lang, kung saan na kalsada, sa ilalim ng mangga, ilalim ng sagingan. Pag dito, nag-training kami dito sa wildcard, hindi naman, wala kaming nakikitang kakaiba, sir. Wala akong nakikita sa kanya na kakaiba na nagbago yung ugali niya, nagbago yung ano niya. At ako naman lahat ng oras nakatingin sa kanya at binabantayan ko siya. Yes.
Jerwin, ikaw?
Para sa amin, sir, ganun din, sir. Wala namang pinabago sa amin dito, sir, sa camp. Yun, kung ano lang, yun nga, may mga gym na maganda na trainingan namin. Dito din sa, sir, yung sabi ni Coach, pumupunta lang kami sa wildcard talaga para sa ring. Yung sukat ng ring, parang maano namin yung ring. Kasi dito, kumbaga parang survival camp lang din yung ginawa namin dito, sir. Kasi dito lang kami nag-training sa bahay po, dito sa backyard ng bilbo namin. Nakikita niyo sa mga ano po sa
nakikita mo.
Opo, parang ganun lang, sir, yung kumbaga yung focus at saka ano namin, walang pinagbago, sir, sa kung may nadagdag siguro, hindi na sa dapat na namin
Okay. Last question po. Kay Mark lang. Mark, nung nagpunta ka dyan, kay Coach Freddy ka nagpunta. Bago, before that time, hindi ka kay Coach Freddy nagpunta-train, ano? So, pagdating mo lang dyan, that's the time na sa wildcard ka, na kay Coach Freddy ka na umpisa, tama?
Ako, nung January 2020, pumunta na kami at sabi ako sa mga coach, pwede ba ako mag-train sa inyo? Sabi niya, hindi, pwede ka na dito, sabi niya. So, nagkaroon ako na tapos. Kasi na-lockdown, kaya sabi niya ang public.
Oo nga. Actually, pag tinanggap ka ni Freddy, sabihin, may potential ka. Ano yung maganda nangyari. Kaya pang tanong ko, meron ko bang nakitang binago si Freddy sa estilo mo? Dahil alam natin, matagal ka sa isang grupo, di ba? Matagal ka nag-train doon at sabi ng marami na yung training style doon ay halos isa. Yung distansya ng paa, yung kalawan ng in-out, yung jump. Alam yung pinag-usapan mo. Dito ba, meron bang binago si Freddy? At kabanggit mo kasi kanina, go for a knockout kick. Di ba, first next, in the next fight. So meron bang binago si Freddy?
Meron po, simula ng pagdating ko, binago niya na tinanggal yung mga wet na suntok ko. Yung mga suntok ko na dati, yung mga sobrang wet na suntok. Parang papatay ng aso, ano? Kaya, bago nila yun, ginawang, kahit na droplet na dapat suntok, dati wild masyadong wild eh. Kaya tinanong ko na ikot pwede dinagdagan yung footwork ko.
Nahirapan ka naman sa adjustment? O okay na sa'yo? Matagal ka ba na?
Muna, hindi pa ako naka-adjust, siyempre hindi yung galaw ko eh. Kaya ngayon po, naka-adjust ko na sa list na naman, papalit ako na magsayo.
Okay, hintayin ko yan, Mark. Okay, good luck to both of you. Sean, thank you for supporting our Filipino boxers. Thank you.
Salamat po.
Thank you so much, Matt. Alright, apologies kay Nick, nabanggit ko kanina, Manila Bulletin, thank you sa Nick ko. Hindi, pasensya na. Ano yan eh, nakasanayan ko. Panahon pa ng pagkaka-commissioner ko, nasa Manila Bulletin. Alam ko na ito pa rin. Alright, our second to the last who will ask the questions today is from One Sports. Yeah, tama yan. Carlo Pamintuan. Carlo?
Thank you, Com. For Jerwin na banggit na rin ni Sir Sean kanina na pag napag-uusapan yung super flyweight division, banggit ni Torrong Bisay, si Estrada, si Chocolatito, may frustration ka ba, Jerwin, na hindi ka pa pinimension alongside those names even if nakakarami ka na nga na title defenses and champion ka since 2016?
Hindi naman sir kasi yung para sa akin parang ginano ko pa rin yung sarili ko na hindi pa siguro ako ka-level pero ano sir umaasa talaga ako sir na makaharap ko sila dahil kumbaga ipapakilala ko yung sarili ko sa kanila at pero hindi ko sa ngayon sir yung focus ko talaga itong laban na darating ko ngayon kasi ito yung ito yung daan na ano ko sila kumbaga makaharap at maka-leaders ka nila.
Salamat, Jerwin. Para kay Mark naman, alam natin no, yung assistant trainer ni Coach Freddy sa Wildcard is Marvin Somojo, his long-time trainer. How has it been working with him? Marami ba siyang matutulong sa'yo? Kumusta yung relationship ng dalawa, Mark?
Siya po yung nagtatranslate sa akin pag meron akong dinay-dinay kay Coach Freddy. At siya po nagkahantrap sa akin sa laban at sa training. At tinitrain din niya ako pag pagod si Coach Freddy, siya din nagpapasuit sa akin. So, malaking tulong din silang dalawa sa akin talaga. At nag-improve ako every training ko.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you po.
Carlo, okay na?
First fight was...
Yes, Tom.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carlo. All right. Now we will go to our final member of the media who will ask a question to the panel. Jerry Ramos of Spin.ph. Jerry?
Again.
Hello, Tom. Good evening sa lahat ng mga guests natin dyan. First question is kay Jerwin. Jerwin, ito siguro na yung pinakamahabang panahon na hindi ka lumaban, no? Tingin mo ba maminibago ka o medyo may kalawang pag-akyat mo sa ring this April 10?
Para sa akin, sir, para sa akin kasi sir, wala kaming tigil sa training. Para sa akin hindi ako na maninibago hindi na ako maninibago, sir, kasi yung tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung training kahit walang laban, kung kailan yung laban. Nung doon pa kami sa Dipolog, talagang yung training namin tuloy-tuloy, sir, hanggang ngayon, sir. Palagi ko hindi ako manibago at sinisit ko na yung sarili ko na ibuhos kong ko sa boxing, na nalaman ko sa boxing, sir.
Jerwin, tsaka kay Mark, kamusta ang timbang nyo ngayon? On ano ba kayo? On track?
Sa akin po, okay na okay siguro mga 8 pounds, ready na po.
8 pounds, no? Kayang kuhanin in 3 weeks, no? 3 weeks. Si Jerwin, ikaw?
Ngayon po, nag-maintain po kami sa 10 pounds, sir, kasi nung nakaraang week po nakuha ko ng maaga yung 8 o mas madali kong nakuha ngayon. Kaya ngayon sabi ni Coach, maintain ka muna kasi parang din si Coach na bigla yun nung unang week po kasi bang bilis kong bumaba ng timbang. Kaya sabi niya, itong week na darating, doon na kami talaga kasi may sparring pa kasi kami nung week na yun, sir.
So nakakakain ka pa ng maganda, no?
Opo, pa, sir. Kakain na, sir. Kasabay pa naman, sir.
Kay Coach Joven, sabi mo nagkikita kayo nila Coach Freddy sa wildcard. May mga binibigay din ba sa yung pointers tungkol sa mga galaw o kilos ni Jerwin kahit paano?
Wala naman po, sir, kasi busy sila dun sa baba, sabay yung training. Kaya kami lang dun sa taas po. Hindi sila nakakaakit na sa taas sa daming boxer po nila.
Pero nagtatanong-tanong ka rin ba kay Coach Freddy?
Hindi pa. Sa sunod na, sir, nahiya pa kami. Nahiya pa kami lumapit. Kahit pa picture nga, nahiya kami, sir. Kaya sa sunod po, tanong-tanong na kami. Kinakaibigan pa namin, sir.
Okay. And one last final question kay Sir Sean. What's the plan for both boxers moving forward? Are they going to stay in the US for a while or go back home for a moment?
I think after Mark fights, it depends how quick we can possibly get him in a world title fight. That'll depend on what he does. And I got to talk to, of course, his wife, who's always a tremendous help, Miss Frances Mixayo. Want to thank her too for everything she does for Mark. Able to let Mark just focus on training and fighting. She takes care of everything for us. Wonderful to have. Jerwin, of course, yeah, he's definitely going to go home for a little bit. He's been away from his family through the holidays. He missed the birthday of his son, Kyrie. So definitely going to go back to the Philippines for a minute, regroup, see how quick we can get him back in the ring. Of course, you always got to wait till April 10th to really make decisions. You can talk about what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, but until the fight happens, you can't make 100%, but that's kind of the plan what we're looking at.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you so much, Jerry. All right, before we end, let me just ask a few things lang. Unahin ko muna kay Coach Hoven. Coach Hoven, sino magiging sparring mates ni Jerwin so far? At meron ka ba pinaplano?
Ang una pong ka-sparring talagang dinala namin dito at pinakiusapan namin si Jonas Sultan. Tapos nung mga last month na nakiusap kami kay Sir Sean na magkaroon ng ka-sparring sa wildcard, kaya nakuha namin si Christian Robles at saka si Scrappy Ramirez po. Dalawa sila ang tumulong kay Jerwin sa sparring po.
Okay. Mark, the same thing. Sino mga nagiging sparring mo ngayon sa wildcard, Mark?
Mga boxer nila pwede si Marcito Gesta, saka yung mga Meksikano na lumaban kahapon, taga Oxnard po sila, hindi ko alam yung mga pangalan eh. At saka yung last na South po, Meksikano, si Oscar Acevedo is undefeated din po. So, magaganda po yung mga kasparing ko, magagaling po, malalaki sa akin. So, mas nag-enjoy ako sa training, sa sipakan.
Yan lang ang tao nag-i-enjoy, nag-inubugbog. Anong sarap, anong smart.
Marami po matutunan eh.
Additional question for both Mark at saka kay Jerwin. Sino ang magiging nasa corner mo sa fight night? Mark, ikaw muna. Ando ba si Coach Freddy at ang catman mo? Sino ang magiging nasa corner mo?
Ang magiging corner ko, head trainer si Coach Freddy at si Coach Marvin. At meron po silang catman na kinukuha sa PBC na po sila. PBC.
Okay. What about you, Jerwin? Sino ang, of course, Coach Hoven will be there. Sino ang magiging catman ninyo?
Assistant.
Ang assistant na namin si Sir Brandon Gibbons po.
Siya na rin ang catman. Siya na rin.
Yes, po.
Yeah, the cutman supplied by the PBC, it's, I can't think of his name, but they have two cutmen that work both corners, depending on who it is, and they're both very good friends of mine. They're both great cutmen. Danny Milano and, I'm drawing a blank on the other. And Mike, so good stuff.
One final question, I guess, to both doctors. Alam natin na madami pa rin ang kaso. Jerwin, sabi nga ni Sean Gibbons, you have plans of coming back to the Philippines. Meron ba kayong vaccination? Have you been given vaccinations? Is that something that is being required by the fighters? When are you going to get this? And is this going to be available to all of you? I'll start with you, Jerwin.
Kami po, ako po, kami po nila Coach Jubin, dito sa mga kasama ko, na-vaccine na po ako, sir. Pfizer po yung vaccine na inana namin, sir.
At wala namang epekto sa'yo? Wala naging epekto? Kahit na ano?
Wala man po. Yung ano lang, yung yung parang normal na tinurukan ka ng ano sir, yung vaccine na mangalay lang yung kamay mo, dalawang araw o parang ano lang, parang ano yung tawag niya? Yung pamao?
Masakit.
Yan lang yung sir.
Okay. Ikaw naman, Mark, have you gotten your vaccines also?
Wala pa po, pero test kami twice a week.
Okay.
Pero wala pa box.
Sana nga makuha mo rin kung hindi bago after the fight. Alright, before we end, Sean, I will give it to you. Can you break down the fight card, please, for the members? I know that there are other fights on the card on April 10. Can you give us the other main events of this coming event?
Yes, in the main event, it's a sensational fight with an up-and-coming kid named Jerwin Ancajas, undefeated from Philadelphia, fighting Sergey Lipnitz, kind of a gatekeeper. Guy's fought for the world title. He was an IBF world champion. Tremendous fight. That's 12 rounds for the IBO title. Then you have a kid named Eugenio Stanionis fighting Thomas Delorme, another 50-50 type fight. Stanionis, kind of that undefeated kid looking to make a name, looking to take a step up. That's a Marvin Samudio fighter. Thomas Delorme's fought everybody, another guy that was a champion along the way, and that'll be a world title eliminator. Of course, Jerwin, Mark Mixayo, and there's a couple other undercard fights, but those three main TV fights on Showtime are all 50-50, 60-40 type fights. Really, really exciting fights. So it's like I said, it's quite an honor to be on Showtime. To be Jerwin's first fight on Showtime, and there's a lot of people watching this fight. A lot of media, a lot of people are looking for Jerwin to get past this fight, to go on to that next big step. And same with Mark.
All right.
And real quick, I just want to thank a couple people. Jonas Sultan, One Punch Jonas. He's been here since August 1st. He's been very instrumental in helping Jerwin, working with Jerwin. We're looking at potentially getting him a fight before he comes back to the Philippines. And of course, we have the Olympian, Yamir Felix Marshall. Yamir's been very instrumental in helping and working with Jerwin, holding the pads, working with the coach. So it's been a really good team, Philippines here. Everybody's gotten along real well. Ymir's working for his goal, that's a gold medal in the Olympics. Jerwin to defend his belt, Jonas for an opportunity. So I've been very happy and very pleased for what we've been able to accomplish here. And I think April 10th, that's going to show. And then Tokyo in July is going to show for Ymir Felix Marshall also. So it's been very nice over there.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sean, for putting this all together and giving us, another opportunity to see all our fighters trying to bring back glory for the Philippines. I will finish the press con with a few words from our boxers. Unahin muna si Mark Magsayo. Mark, final words mo to our members of the media and of course to Big Boss Event.
Thank you for having me here. Maraming salamat sa mga Pilipino sa mga suporta. Pagkasali po kami ni Champ Jerwin Ancajas Press sa laban namin darating ngayong April 10 at sana ay palagi po kami manalo at igabayan mo kami lahat sa darating naming laban. Maraming salamat po kay Sir Sean, sa team ko, Team Wildcard, saka sa manager ko, saka sa kay Sir Alhen. Maraming salamat. At saka sa Big Boss.
Maraming salamat, Mark. Good luck. At ngayon, huling pananalita, Jerwin, ikaw naman ang magbigay ng iyong final words para sa media at sa Big Boss.
Unang-una po, nagpapasalamat po kami talaga sa tao na laging sumusuporta sa amin sa team namin sa survival camp. Kay Sir Gilbert Cruz po, sa Big Boss Cement, kay Ma'am Pin. Sila po yung nag-ano sa amin, isa sa mga tao na bumulong sa amin kay Sir Sean na nagbigay ng makalaban ako ulit. At sana po pagdasal niyo po ang aming darating na laban at sana supportahan niyo po kami sa darating na laban na walang masamang nangyari sa amin, lalo pati na sa mga kalaban namin. At maraming salamat po sa inyo sa mga nandito ngayon sa yung mga media, lalo na kay Sir Kinito, Sir Joseph Ramos, sa inyo Sir Noli, at sa lahat po na hindi ko mabanggit, kay Sir Dennis Grisgunya. Maraming salamat po sa inyong suporta po lagi sa amin, sa mga boxer na nandito, at lalo na sa mga team ko na nandito ngayon sa harapan ko, sila Yumer at saka si Jonas Sultan at si Marvin at Sir Brendan, si Sean, nandito lahat. At sa survival camp, maraming salamat sa Dipolog, Pitra Cement. Maraming salamat sa inyo, sir. At pagbutihin ko talaga nitong laban nito at kayo ang mga dahilan na bakit kami nagsasakripisyo dito, sir. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. God bless po.
Maraming salamat. Mark, we will all be praying for you. Sana nga tayo maging matagumpay sa araw po ng laban. Again, to the members of the media, maraming salamat. Final reminder, this fight on April 10 will be shown on April 11 courtesy of Big Boss Cement. Lahat po yung fights na binanggit ni Sean will be aired on One Sports and One Sports Plus. And ito po ay handog ng Big Boss Cement. Maraming salamat kay Engineer Gilbert Cruz, ang kanilang presidente, at of course Chief Company Innovator, si Dr. Ish Ordonez, ang Senior Vice President. Sir, thank you so much for being here and your support. Ma'am Pen, Sir Charles Miraflor, si Richard has been very busy putting this together, and of course the Signal TV, kay Vito Nasatin, and Ma'am Shena Olaso, thank you. We will bring the fight on April 11, and hopefully one of our own, Pilito, will be there to join us in the fight. So let's just pray for Jerwin at kay Mark na sana magtagumpay ang Pilipino muli. Maraming po salamat sa inyo lahat sa inyong pagsama sa ating virtual press con, at mabuhay po kayo. Stay safe, everyone. Again, maraming po salamat sa inyo lahat.
Viva Filipino!
Viva! Yes! Big boss! Woo!
Viva!
Thanks, Sean. Good luck, man.
Thank you. Thank you. See you, Mark. See you, Mark.
Thank you for watching, guys. Tapos na kami.
Don't forget to mention our YouTube channel.
Oh, shit.
YouTube channel.
YouTube channel.
YouTube. Follow YouTube. Jerwin Sports.
Marvin Mabait.
Follow.
Nagkagulo na
Follow
mga
your weird
vloggers.
TV.
So,
Puro na vloggers lang.
please subscribe to channel.
Brandon, Yumir,
Thank you, Dean.
Dito na.
Yeah, yeah, come in. Dean. Oh, on the chair. Jonas, go. Jonas.
It's time.
Oh, boys. One punch man.
Brandon,
Yo, Dean.
Alright.
Sir, dito kami.
Mike, si Francis naman.
Yan.
Si Francis.
We in.
Nakita na natin.
Mark.
One shot, Gab. One shot.
Mark.
Marv.
Marvin,
boy.
Marvin TV. Gentlemen, we have a blast from the past here, Mr. Marvin. Big man. The champ is here. Coming back.
All right. Ready? One. Alright, alright.
Thank you. Thank you. Kami dito nakatita.
Ando pa kami.
Sana all.
See you, Mark.
Ano.
Alright, thank you guys.
Nag-enjoy ba kayo dyan?
Magnifico. Yes.
Sir Sean.
All right, so. Hey, wait, let's do
One more question.
Oh. That is awesome. Hold on one second, I'm gonna send him back here.
Tapos na po kami, mga idol. So,
Okay po, no?
salamat sa panonood. Shout out lang. Shout out lang. Shout out.